Hello and welcome to WEC Talk, the podcast series from the FIA World Endurance Championship. I'm Martin Haven. In episode 7 of the 2021 series, we look back at the Le Mans 24 Hours, catching up with two figures who were part of another incredibly exciting class victory. To win a sprint race, even a 2-hour Grand Prix, by just 0.7 of a second is a pretty close run thing. But to win by that tiny margin after 24 hours of flat-out racing through night, day, rain, chaos, and finally cars slowing down for a photo opportunity at the finish line, that's incredible. 0.7 of a second after more than 4,950 kilometres. Just think about that for a second. Then throw in the added drama and total shock of passing your own teammate, the class leader, just after the beginning of the final lap. Your mind about to explode as it tries to compute the reality that you're now racing for victory with a rival closing in at an alarming rate behind you and a track full of debris, rubber, slowing cars and the rest as you hurtle towards the checkered flag. How the hell do you deal with that as a Le Mans rookie? And how do you cope from the pit wall as an astonishing 1-2 result evaporates with just 5 minutes on the clock? To try and put it all into words, I'm delighted to welcome the driver of the LMP2 winning number 31 WRT Oreca, Robin Frijns, and longtime WRT team boss, Vincent Vosse. Well, where do we start? I mean, Robin, the last lap of Le Mans, it was never going to be easy. You had Jotas Tom Blomqvist coming up with a full head of steam. And then as you crossed the line, ready to go on to what you now knew was going to be the last lap, desperate to try and defend second place, what were you thinking at that stage?
Well, a lot of things. There's a lot of things going through my head, especially the last 3 hours. I mean, first of all, we were leading into the night and came out unscratched out of the night in the morning with a good lead for over a minute on the sister car. So everything looked really, really under control, really nice. No issues with the car whatsoever. And then, with 3 hours to go, everything went bad. So we had this air jack issue, and we basically couldn't really change tires because the pit stop was like 30 or 40 seconds longer than it should. And then other issues, I had like a tire failure as well, so I need to change tires again. So it was like a roller coaster. It was going down and down, and it's 24-hour race, and you see your win suddenly disappear out of nowhere. And then in the last lap, I was basically down in the car, like, as I said before, you're leading more than half of the race, and because of issues, you're losing over 2 minutes, and you lose the lead to the sister car. So I'm sitting in a car driving, and the car had these issues. I mean, I wouldn't say it was breaking down, but I was just losing overall pace. I was 3 or 4 seconds off the pace in that case because I had an issue with the car. So you're kind of like desperate, and you try to hold on to your P2 while the sister car is leading. I remember well heading to the last chicanes, preparing for the last lap, basically. Coming on the radio like, sister car stopped, you're fighting for victory now. And I saw the sister car standing there in the last lap. I mean, obviously, within the team, the atmosphere is very strange. It's heartbroken, and for the 41 car, and you try to keep it together in the last lap, knowing that Blomqvist is on better tires without any issue with the car, being 3-4 seconds quicker than you the last 2 hours in the stint, closing the gap massively. I think I had like 4 seconds or 5 seconds gap into the last lap, so I kind of like knew, like, okay, I have enough, but you never know what's happening with traffic. So it was, I wanted to have the gap all the time into the last lap. Every sector I had, like, I want to know the gap, because I couldn't really see what the gap was behind me. And then I was scared because of the Toyota cars. I knew they were coming out of the pits just in front of me, and I knew what was going to happen. They were going to prepare for their photo finish, which is, Le Mans tradition, slowing down, because if you are in front of them, you need to do an extra lap, and you put maybe yourself in a bit more risk, etc. So all the cars behind the Toyotas were slowing down, and I was like trying to, keep Blomqvist behind me in full speed, full attack, struggling with the car balance. Um, and then you're heading to the last chicanes, and everybody is like slowing down in front of you, and you have Blomqvist really close to you behind you. So you try to avoid it, and then I saw the checker flagman standing there, which was very close, too close to comfort, I have to say. Saw it quite late because you're sitting so low in the car, and you have this Toyota or Porsche in front of you, which is obviously a bigger car than the P2 cars. So you don't see far ahead. So I jump out of the ride. Even I touched that Porsche which was on the right of me. Obviously not his blame, because I was still in full speed and he didn't expect it. So I kind of like half lost the car on the rear, and then suddenly I see this checker flagman standing there. So yeah, it was a scary moment in the car, I have to say.
Well, that was what was going on in the car. You were with the rest of the team. What was the feeling on the pit wall in the garage?
In motorsport, we always say a race is not finished till the flag drops. But there, we were in the last lap of the race. We had no technical alarm or issues in before. We were remoting all the information from the car. Everything was running perfect. And then seeing on the screen and then confirming by the data that the car has stopped on the track was a drama. I have to say, it was difficult for me to have any feeling at that time. My only concern at that time was what's going on. But then finally and quickly we realized that we were on the treat for normally P2, which was at that time P1 already then. So I have to say, mixed feeling to see half of your box going down and the other half going to the sky was a difficult feeling. But we should not underestimate what it takes to a team to bring two cars to Le Mans for the first time, and to bring them first and second till the last lap. So it took me time, but I have to say I'm proud and happy about what we did in Le Mans. I'm very disappointed for what happened to car 41, which was going to win the race at that time. People from ACO and WEC were already in the box and telling us what will be the procedure for the podium and so on. So very difficult, but at the end, what we will, it's a very, very nice scenario for a film, and that's what will happen.
Yeah, script writer with a really warped sense of humour, maybe. But Robin, Le Mans can be like that. You're a complete rookie, but you ended up, first of all, having your dreams crushed, and then suddenly, in the very last minute of the final reel of the film, victory comes to you again. It's a tough race for everybody, and Le Mans can be a cruel mistress.
It is, because I never managed to win a 24-hour race in my life so far. I've won the 12 hours of Bathurst. I've been, I lost the 24 hours Nordschleife in the last lap as well a few years ago while leading. So, I saw again things getting to my mind, and like, we're going to lose this race again. And suddenly everything turns again in the last lap. So it's been very stressful. And I remember well when I actually crossed the finish line, I was not particularly happy or so. I was like, I couldn't really like digest of what happened in the last lap. with, you know, being second, fighting for second, of kind of like half giving up on the fact that we lost the race, and then eventually winning the race. And yeah, the team radio was going mad, and the team obviously was going mad, but it was also very depressing in the box because of the sister car breaking down in the last lap and not even classified as of the rules are how they are in Le Mans. So it was very strange atmosphere. It was only the fact when I jumped out of the car, when I see my two teammates, Ferdy and Charles, standing there, that it actually kind of sinked in a way that we have won Le Mans. Because on the lap back to the box, I was just driving around and I was looking left, right. All the marshals were standing on the track, and I didn't really know what was happening. I was like, what is this? I never experienced this in my life so far. The feeling I had in the car on the way back.
Vincent, it was hard enough for everybody to process what happened looking from the outside in. What was it like for you and for the team?
We were on the podium of Le Mans earlier during the week because we won a prize of another prize from the ACO, and we were on that podium during the week. And I said, well, I hope to be back here quite soon. And you know, if there is a podium where you want to stand, it's probably the Le Mans one. And that's what happened when you are on the podium there. Well, you know, it's not a normal Le Mans podium because unfortunately the full crowd was not back to Le Mans this year yet. But it was an incredible feeling. But still there, I was thinking, you know, we let our three drivers down one lap to the end, and not even one lap, less than a lap to the end. I could not really had a great feeling for the win. It took me a few hours and maybe a good night on Sunday evening to think, okay, well, we still won Le Mans. I mean, we were on a way to do a first and second, but we still won it. And yeah, when you look at your mobile the next morning, you look at the numbers of message, WhatsApp, and all those messages coming from people all around the world which were watching Le Mans. I mean, for sure there was no much else than LMP2 to watch, because in LMP1 there was no fight at the front at the end. In GT, I think the race was also quite done in the last lap. So it was this LMP2 battle, which was incredible. And to finish in front by 7/10 after 24 hours, it's incredible.
Incredible, and so unexpected as well. And then, I mean, not even in the final hour, but in the final minutes, and then checkered flag, cars underneath the podium, teams on the podium, national anthem, champagne, press conference, bang, 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 gone. And no time really to prepare for it or to understand that it's coming for the guys in the 31 car. So, Robin, what on earth was it like in the immediate aftermath?
Even a few days after, we've been texting each other like, guys, we've won Le Mans. You know, like, it was just unreal. And when you're standing there preparing to go onto the podium, which is, you know, one of the best podiums you can be on, first of all, you're standing there, see the whole team, and obviously the guys have been working a full week flat out to try to give us the best car. It was strange. Like I said before, I really never experienced this feeling I had standing there on the podium or sitting in the car in the in lap. It was just very, very odd. I mean, if you are driving for victory and another, you know, your sister car or another car beats you by pure pace without any issues, you're like, you know, it's bad luck and you did your best and it's how it is. But winning like this, yeah. Meanwhile, yeah, you are leading for 13, 14 hours in the race. But yeah, both of the WRT cars deserve that victory for sure. But yeah, I can't really explain of how I felt in the car. It was just kind of like this empty feeling and not knowing what was happening. And I was asking on the radio, like, what happened? I couldn't digest it.
Yeah. So, one Le Mans win, one Le Mans start, 100% record. That's going to be pretty tough to keep alive, right?
Yeah, it's very true. I think a lot of people are, still dreaming about being on a podium in Le Mans, and did a lot of races there. And we, as definitely as a team, as WRT, coming there, being the very last pit box, because we were brand new in Le Mans, and I never even been at Le Mans as a visitor, so it was a very new experience for me. Um, Also missing the test day because I was in Berlin for Formula E, so basically FP1 was my first couple of laps on the big Le Mans track. So I think the preparation we had, also doing the WEC races with WT, we had some ups and downs, but every time we showed that we had good pace, but there was just little things that was going wrong all the time. If it was like little issues or bad pit stop or drive-through penalties we had in Portimao a lot. So just like small little things were going wrong all the time, and then being 1-2 for WT the whole night long, I think as a first timer, well, I think it was kind of like a dream coming true for the WT boys. I mean, who can say that jumps in as a new team and being a super competitive field out there in P2 cars. Yeah, it was crazy. The whole night was everybody was on the was really on a high level to try to keep it going, and everything was going great. And then yeah, the last hour was just crazy.
Exactly so, and something that none of us will forget, I think, in a very long while. So that's where we are now. What about where we started? How was it? How did you get into motorsport? Was it a family thing?
Actually not at all. It's my family is really a football fan. My brother did football, like in the first division here in Holland. Unfortunately, he broke his leg and he had to stop because he was too injured because of it. My dad played football back in the day, so decades ago. Um, and I was also playing football when I was younger. But then my dad had a friend which had three Porsches doing Belcar, which is the Belgian Championship of kind of GT racing. Um, and he was like helping him out because it was a school friend of his. So I was going on the tracks by the age of 5, 6, and I was seeing cars for the first time. I didn't know what was happening. So thanks to my dad's friends, I came in touch with racing, and it was just that they had like a sponsor event once, and they went go-karting for all the sponsors, and my dad was invited for that. Obviously, I was also there, and I wanted to be part of it, but I was 6 years old, so my dad said, "Well, you can't," and because there were like those sponsors was driving all the time. So my dad said, "Okay, we come back next weekend, and then you have a go," and which we did. Came back next weekend, jump in a go-kart for the first time in indoor track, and yeah, basically never jumped out again. And that's how I grew up. And my dad had, no knowledge of how the motorsport world works. The whole my family is not into racing at all. So yeah, I did everything with the help of my father, obviously, and all the people that came along into the career I had so far. So I've been, very thankful that I've been in a position which I'm in now, being, in a competitive team like WT is in P2, and then in driving a Formula E car. I had the chance to test the Formula One car. Unfortunately, I never got a proper chance to race them. but at least I got a chance to jump in and to be a test driver and to do, to be involved in the development of the F1 cars, which also not a lot of people can say. So I think, you should be thankful of what you have achieved in your career, and I definitely am.
Well, Vincent, a lot of the younger fans will know you as the guy in the flat hat who runs Team WRT so successfully. But some of us who have got slightly longer memories, let's say, remember Vincent Vosse, the racing driver. So where did it all start for you? Again, was it family that got you involved?
Well, I won't say no, but my father used to like racing, and when I was young, at 7 or 8 years old, we used to go to the 24 Hours of Spa every year, and I was going on my own to the garage of all those great touring cars in the late 70s, and looking for the drivers, for having a picture of the cars, and my father used to do a bit of karting, but that was in his early days, which I never was able to participate with him. It was way before I was born, and then no, I was just interested in anything which was running, everything which was having an engine, and if it was with a tractor to cut the grass at home, or if it was anything which had an engine and at least two wheel, and if possible four. So it came. I would not say late, but I start really racing myself quite late in karting. When I was about 18, and then I quickly, when I was 19, start to do Formula Ford in England and those kind of thing, and then quickly reorient my career to a sports car, touring car, and sports car in the late 90s, which bring me for the first time to Le Mans in 99.
Why the change then to sports car racing, to saloons racing and everything else? Was that a lack of money to become a Formula One star, or was that something you always kind of appreciated because of the Spa 24 Hours and your history as a boy?
Well, I will always say to a young driver, you have to keep dreaming and dreaming high enough that you set your goal at the highest level. But on my side, I start racing. I was quite old already, especially now when you say you start racing when you were 19. I mean, that's when people almost end their Formula One career now. Clearly, when I finished third in the Formula Ford Festival, it was already my second and a half year in Formula Ford, and we had the backing in Belgium of Marlboro, and I was part of the Marlboro program. And Marlboro decided to stop and to focus into rally at the end of '94, and then I had some opportunity to jump into a touring car. I was in contact with Audi Belgium, and there was a second car in the Belgian Touring Car Championship, and I was invited to race there. And I decided that this will be will be my '95 season. I never dreamed about Formula One. I was clever enough to think that I start too late. I don't have enough experience. I never really did karting. I did a low level of karting, and then jumping into Formula Ford. I did some good things, finishing third in the Formula Ford Festival, finishing second to Jeffrey Orion, and in front of third place Tom Coronel in the Benelux Championship. I did some good thing in single seater, but I did not have the backing, and then I I was thinking and dreaming about sports car and touring car. This was my and I did not impress the boss of Marlboro at that time, who were doing interview with us every year. when he asked me what is your dream, well, my dream is to do Le Mans in a Group C car. Well, from there I quite try to orient my career into sports car and touring car.
Well, looking down the things you have raced, you've raced quite a lot of different things, even at Le Mans alone. Porsche, Viper, Ferraris, including the 550 Maranello. I'd forgotten you raced in LMP 900 in the Lister as well. So, I mean, that's a fairly select group of people that drove that car. You've raced an LMP2 Courage, you've raced Aston Martins, Maserati MC12, Corvettes, Celines, and so on. I mean, that's a lot of variety. And that's one of the great joys of sports car racing is there are so many different machines. You seem to have almost gone out of your way to try them all.
Well, I always see myself as one of those lucky guys who had the chance at one stage to race all of those cars, GT cars, in most of it in FIA GT. I did Le Mans with Porsche Vipers, Corvette, Ferrari, and I was brave enough to do it with the Lister 900. Which was an incredible car to look at, but I did not spend much time behind the wheel because my friend and teammate Jamie Campbell-Walter had a bit of an off in the first part of the track, and the chassis was cracked, and we did not race the car for the weekend. But yeah, all of those cars were incredible to drive. I had the chance to be in FIA GT in some of the most competitive cars. In Le Mans, I always push hard to be in Le Mans every year, or some of the years I really like. It's an incredible race. It's, if you want to do one race, it would be Le Mans. But I was never in a factory car in Le Mans. I was reserve driver for Oreca in 2000, as I did Daytona with them. And I was in a Viper of Lab in 2002, where we were, I think, second or third. And in the last stop, we had a starter issue. Being in the Viper with Vanina X in 2001, I think, leading the category in the wet was also a nice memory of Le Mans. And the nicest memory of Le Mans was to be in the 550, an incredible car, an incredible sound, and to be in Le Mans in that car. And I even put the car on pole on the Wednesday in the wet. So that was, it was nice memory of being at Le Mans. And the last time I was at Le Mans was 2007, I believe, racing the Corvette from Luc Alphand. And yeah, when we start the team, I always said to myself, well, once I will bring them to Le Mans, but not just to be there, but to win our category. This was always been my goal.
Well, finally, Robin, Formula E, you were a championship contender again this season. You finished third in the DTM series last year. You guys lie second in World Endurance as we head to the season finale in Bahrain. 2 races, 6 hours and 8 hours, so 14 more hours of racing. It's going to be an interesting end to the season, isn't it?
Definitely. I think we are 1 point behind. Yeah, I mean, obviously winning Le Mans, it's a huge point bag. At the beginning of the season, we were losing points a lot in Spa. We had like the clutch issue. Portimao, we had 2 or 3 drive-through penalties. But then, yeah, winning Le Mans, we are completely back in the title fight. Being in Bahrain 2 times now, not sure if it will help us. I mean, in the end of the day, everybody drives the same laps, and everybody learns in the same way. The more laps you drive, but I think it gives a good boost of what we achieved in Le Mans. I think you kind of like compare Le Mans a bit with Bahrain. There's also like high speed and medium to high speed corners a few times. So I'm really looking forward to Bahrain. I know the track pretty well. I did the GP2. So I'd also did the Formula 1 test there. So I know kind of what to expect. And I think, if nothing really goes wrong, I think we definitely have a good shot of securing that title. And I think that will be, amazing for WRT jumping in the championship for the first time to secure the WEC championship. That's definitely our goal now.
As we head to Bahrain then, 2 final races of the World Endurance Championship 2021 to decide, well, all our titles. And hopefully for everyone involved and their hearts, no more Le Mans style last lap dramas. Well, that's it for this WEC Talk. Of course, my great thanks go to my guests, Robin Frijns and to Vincent Vosse, and to you for listening. Until the next time, stay safe. We'll speak to you soon.